the latest warship, the Baden-Württemberger, I totally blew that one, battling delays, technology challenges. The German Navy says that this ship's central computer system just has yet to pass any of the necessary tests. This as Russia's Navy flexing its muscle, firing hundreds of rockets within the past year. This is part of its Northern Fleet Arctic drills have gone on, and now leaked documents are showing that it's developed an underwater armed drone that's actually capable of carrying a nuclear warhead. Here to me now to discuss retired U.S. Navy Captain William Parker, the COO of the East-West Institute, and back with us, Peter Brookes. Captain Parker, let me start with you. It's, we did a story not long ago that for the first time perhaps in centuries, there was not a single British warship out of port. We see what's happening with Germany's latest military effort, Navy effort, and we know that America, our Navy, has been stretched very thin.
So, Charles, let's put this in context. First of all, NATO and the United States in particular is still the most competent war force to go to sea and to deploy in our lifetime and maybe in history. That said, Russia and China in particular are closing that gap. And in particular, when you look at the United States Navy, for example, 30 years ago, we had about 600 ships. On an average day, we had 100 deployed. Today, we have 280 ships, and on an average day, we have 100 deployed. So while the number of ships has gone to half, the number of ships deployed remains the same. So we are stretched very thin. At the same time, the Russians are developing, and so are the Chinese, developing hypersonic weapons. They are increasing their nuclear capabilities. So it's something to watch very closely. When you talk about technology and building new ship classes in particular, that's nothing new. The Arleigh Burke-class destroyer was very complicated, and we had trouble with that when we first built it. The Oliver Hazard Perry-class frigate was also very complicated. Imagine taking a large building, turning it on its side, and dipping it in salt water, and that's basically what you're doing when you're building these new complex systems.
Peter, but I think another thing that's sort of worrisome here is that maybe in the future you don't need these big complex systems, right? These large carrier classes and the aircraft carriers, if they can develop underwater drones that could evade radar or, so you don't need the same size budgets or the same technology per se, the way technology seems to be heading.
Yeah, I mean, and that's called asymmetric warfare. I mean, we heard recently about the attacks on a Russian base in Syria using armed small drones. The terrorists used this in Raqqa. They put grenades and explosives on small hobby drones and dropped them on Iraqi soldiers and Syrian fighters as well. So, yeah, you're right. Asymmetry is important. If you don't have the strength to stand up to an American carrier battle group, you develop submarines or you develop other standoff weapons. And this technology is being used. Cyber today, think about that capability in warfare. So You're right, Charles. It doesn't always have to be big and gray and float and have a lot of airplanes on it to be powerful. There are other ways, swarming techniques, a lot of assets going after one high-value target. So it's out there. It's a possibility.
Real quick, Captain Parker, do you think we've been lulled into a false sense of security, or do you think we're okay?
I do not think we're okay. I think we're at the point now where, again, we are very capable, but I think we need to get our act together and begin building more units again. Numbers matter. I agree with Peter, but numbers also matter in order to deter our potential adversaries.
All right, gentlemen, thank you both very much for your expertise. Again, this notwithstanding, we had an amazing, remarkable day in the stock market.